Jennifer Gorovitz, Chief Executive Officer of the Jewish Federation of San Francisco, is the first woman CEO among the 20 largest federations in North America. She has been with the JCF for over 7 years in a number of senior roles. Jennifer was recently recognized by the San Francisco Business Times as one of the Bay Area's most influential women, and earlier by the Jewish Daily as one of the top 50 men and women who have made significant impact on the Jewish story in a Jewish way, along with names that you may recognize, such as innovators as Sergey Brin, Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan, and Ruth Messenger. Jennifer followed the footsteps of 4 generations in her family when she became a Federation volunteer as an undergraduate at Stanford University. That seems to be the common theme today. Chairing the Federation's student campaign and leading a special campus appeal for Operation Moses, מבצע משה, שעסק בעלייה של יהודי אתיופיה. A graduate of Georgetown University, again, a repeating theme here, Law Center at Stanford University, Jennifer clerked on the United States Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims in Washington, and she practiced law at distinguished law firms as well as the Public Defender Office of Santa Clara County. Jennifer is a Wexner Heritage alumna and a member of committees and boards on Planned Giving, Jewish Studies Foundations, Legislative Network, and other organizations. She has been contributor and invited to serve on the faculty of UJC, Senior Advisory Council of Endowment Executives. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce you, Jennifer, please. Your presentation will show up soon. Pray.
I'm not worried since it's primarily pictures. That was on purpose. So while they're continuing to work on the technical issues, shalom everyone. I want to thank Eric for inviting me to speak today. I want to thank the entire IVN staff for all that you have done in our partnership together and in helping to prepare for today. And I want to introduce to you our Director for Peoplehood and Israel Engagement and Philanthropy here in Israel, Barak Uzan. Many of you know him. He is not a stranger to you. And please use him as a resource. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. I want to thank you, Dr. Hardigan, for your enlightening perspectives. And I'm going to shed a little bit different kind of light on this work in this sector over the next few minutes. Just to give you a little bit of flavor, a little bit of color. Oh my goodness, look at that. So
I'll be your...
Would you like to do that?
Okay.
Certainly, thank you.
Just tell me when and I'll sort of...
I think you're overpaid for this.
Do you know academic salaries in Israel? I've been promoted.
That's a good point. So the San Francisco Federation actually encompasses what we call the Peninsula, Marin, and Sonoma counties. It's a 2,400 square mile region with about 250,000 Jews, depending on which study you're reading at any given moment. And fewer than 20% of those Jews are involved in what we call the traditional organized community. That's synagogues, federations, or Jewish community centers. And if you've heard about the Pew study and all the talk about that, the view is that as the number of people involved in traditional organizations, Jewish organizations, goes down, there is an existential threat to American Jewry and Bay Area Jewry as a whole, which is already the most assimilated, integrated, radically individualistic Jewish community in North America, perhaps in the world. So what does a Jewish Federation do under these circumstances, both to enhance engagement and at the same time to build relationship and connection to Israel? And that is our primary challenge. So I'd like to talk with you today about really 5 things. You're ahead of me. We're going to talk about why I believe that federations and foundations really should consider social venture investing in Israel, and it's not a surprise that I'm standing here as a representative of San Francisco that's always been willing and interested in both taking risks and pushing the envelope of what is possible. I want to talk about the young adults in the Bay Area and why social venture investing is so attractive to them. I want to talk about our relationship with IVN, and then the specific process that we used to partner with IVN, because I do believe it can be an example or a model for other federations and foundations that seek to engage the next generation of American Jews. And then finally, I have a call to action. So I come here on the heels of a wonderful experience for my community. 20 of us joined thousands of leaders from Israel and Jewish federations from across North America for our annual General Assembly, the GA, which took place this year in Jerusalem. At this conference, we shared strategies, stories, information, and ideas among federations on how best to achieve our goals of supporting and strengthening our Jewish communities at home, in Israel, and around the world. We even presented to a standing room only crowd about our partnership with IVN and the innovative ways in which we are engaging young adults in the Bay Area. Next slide. Actually, are we on number 3? It's good. Before and after the conference, my volunteer leaders, staff, and I also had the opportunity to meet with and visit many of our Federation's potential new grantees, existing grantees, and colleagues here in Israel, and it's really been thrilling to see in person the amazing work that is being done in the name of shared society, Jewish pluralism, education, and poverty alleviation and prevention, with solid metrics, evaluation, and data. I just had to throw that in. Our federation, as you may know, is part of a larger system of federated communities that raise funds annually. Ours raises about $20 million from that San Francisco Bay Area community to make strategic grants to important causes in Northern California, Israel, the former Soviet Union, Hungary, and other places in the world. As a funder and a fundraiser, we are always looking for new ways of engaging our donors, for new funding opportunities, for new models of grant making, for new ways to ensure that we have the maximum possible impact, and for tools that help us to be efficient, transparent, and connected to the community we serve. Next slide, please. Those objectives are what brought us to the exploration of social venture philanthropy and to our new partnership with IVN. And here we're using social venture philanthropy and investing interchangeably because we are a philanthropy, and all of the investments that we make, we seek to really build social impact, though in different ways. Social ventures are the brave new world of philanthropy, a growing sector that is taking hold here in the US and elsewhere, and which really does deserve our support and energy. Next slide, please. Social ventures will help each of us in our own geographic areas or issue areas create durable infrastructure for making meaningful and sustainable change. But many may still ask, why should this federation or any federation or foundation depart even a little bit from the long-held model of grant making to NGOs in Israel or elsewhere that work purely in the sphere of social good? Don't get me wrong. NGOs are essential to any healthy, well-functioning society and will continue to receive the majority of our funding. And after all, we in the United States want to continue our long-standing relationship with Israel by investing financially in its social sector to achieve the things I mentioned just a moment ago: Jewish pluralism, economic justice, and a shared society. But in an era when Israel's economic success is just as critical or even more critical to its well-being, its security, and its place among nations as the success of its NGO sector, and in an era where it is also essential to engage a new generation of donors to this federation and to every federation in new ways, we must adopt new tools of engagement and grant making or investment together that enhance the impact of both at the same time. That is, economic success here and Jewish engagement with Israel from San Francisco or New York or wherever else in North America. We know that American Jews in the Bay Area who care about Israel are increasingly interested in going beyond the pure NGO. They see, and we at the Federation see, a very bright future as investors in both Israel's for-profit companies and its social ventures. Young adult entrepreneurs in the Bay Area are particularly interested in double bottom-line ventures that will help Israeli society and generate profit, just as they are interested in these kinds of ventures at home. So we need to meet them where they are. Moreover, these entrepreneurs want to contribute not only their funds, but also their ideas. They want to be partners. They want to see measures of successful business and social impact together. They want tangible proof of revenue and social benefit. Next slide, please. This is a generation suspicious of any government's ability to create the best, most efficient social good, whether in the US or in Israel. It is also a generation that is less interested in traditional NGOs to deliver social good effectively and sustainably. And yet, it is a generation that still wants to learn about, engage with, and help create a positive narrative for Israel, because most of what they hear on CNN or on college campuses is negative. So let me say this in a different way. This generation of young Jews wants to be in relationship with Israel and Israelis, and yet wants to do it on its own terms, not under the terms of a traditional Federation grant to the Jewish Agency or the Joint, for whom I have great respect and deep commitment. I just wanted to mention that to those of you who are representatives in the room. It is also tired of political conflict and of religious intolerance and economic injustice, and wants a different way to connect and feel that we are one people. They want to teach people to fish rather than just handing out fish to eat. They want to be partners on the fishing journey and create something together. Finally, this next generation wants to be involved in its local federation, but it desperately wants that federation to be different, to be more like them, to be less old-fashioned, less establishment. That's why we created a venture philanthropy model for them, and the rest is why we sought to partner with IVN to find the best social ventures. Next slide, please. Thank you. It is no secret that IVN is leading the way here in Israel in social venture investing. Our partnership has been educational, eye-opening, and inspiring for me, for my staff, and for our volunteers who have worked so closely with IVN and our grantees. During the experience, we learned together with IVN and explored our investments in a very collaborative process to everyone's benefit. IVN taught us about how social businesses in Israel work and educated us on the most acute needs in local communities. For our part, we brought entrepreneurial spirit, energy, social networks, fundraising know-how, and a powerful commitment to Israel's well-being and future. Make no mistake, IVN is at the vanguard of a new movement and is doing important and groundbreaking work every day that can be a model for all of us around the world. More specifically about our process, our recent collaboration was called the Israel Impact Grants Initiative. Next slide, please. Or Israel IGI, and I'm extremely proud of both the process and the outcome. The IGI is built on the idea that donors want to have a direct hand in making impact on the world. The program is adapted from a model that we use at home for local grants that are innovative and which brings together groups of 10 to 20 young individuals in an intensive educational and grant-making process over a short time of 6 to 9 months. The Federation, my Federation, is currently running 8 such grant rounds. Now, we're all aware that philanthropy has changed in recent years, owing largely to the globalization of the internet and to the amazing idea that we can each be philanthropists, a term no longer reserved for the Rockefellers or the Gates or the Loutman Foundations of the world. Simply, we can all be strategic and intentional. With the touch of a button, any of us can send dollars or shekels to high-quality NGOs in sub-Saharan Africa or South America. We can read evaluation reports, monitor progress, and assess impact swiftly and professionally when those reports are available. With all of this competition for funding, The Federation and frankly IVN want to engage the next generation, the young adult generation, in social venture investing. We have to do it in a way that gets them deep into the experience quickly and in meaningful ways. They don't trust us to deploy assets in the way that my parents' generation or my grandparents' generation trusted us to deploy assets. It's not writing a check and saying, go ahead and do what you'll do. They want to see it and touch it and feel it to be sure that their dollars are being appropriately spent. While our Federation has been engaged in strategic funding in Israel in our own unique way through direct grants for nearly 30 years, the Israel IGI was a new concept. New slide, please. An 8-month, highly dynamic, immersive communal grant round directed toward Israeli social enterprises exclusively. So this was a new sector for us. This was an amazing opportunity to engage our community, to partner with IVN on the other hand, and then to boost Israeli social ventures in a meaningful way. So this IGI began with 10 top entrepreneurs from the San Francisco Bay Area who were uninvolved, that is, completely uninvolved in our community or the issues facing Israel and the Jewish people. Next slide, please. We started with discussions about philanthropy, what it means, how to do it responsibly, how to do it through a Jewish lens, and then they received an education on venture investing, the Federation, social issues in Israel, IVN, and social ventures in Israel. There followed a review of grant proposals, and the process culminated in a 5-day trip to Israel led by both Federation and IVN to all of the top applicants. The social businesses made presentations, and the group received others focusing on the Israeli economy and the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. They also visited existing Federation grantees and witnessed their extraordinary work, balancing social investment with the need to do pure social good. Again, I want to emphasize that this process was concentrated and fast-paced. They received a hands-on education in Israel and on its social issues. They connected to Israelis in meaningful ways, spending time with IVN mentors and social entrepreneurs, and learned firsthand how to be responsible community investors. Together with IVN, the group approved funding for 4 social ventures, which for the next 2 years will receive funding and mentoring to help compete in a market economy, no easy task for businesses with social goals. Our grantees in Israel include, next slide please, Susan's House, which employs at-risk youth to develop their self-esteem, interpersonal relationships, and job skills. Mitam, which provides a variety of HR or human resource services to Israeli NGOs. Jobs for Moms, which is an online job platform geared toward mothers seeking quality full and part-time jobs. And Rakia, which incorporates the study of mathematics and science into Haredim Torah study to help Haredi students get quality jobs. The social venture funding round ended in May, and since then each participant has given generously to the Federation's annual campaign of their own free will, with no ask, because the appreciation ran so deep and the experience was so beneficial. But more importantly, they came together and asked us to find ways to engage them even more in Jewish philanthropy. So at their request, we are now developing an Israel-focused giving circle so the group can continue their work together under the Federation banner and contribute their own funds to the process, whereas before, they were using communally raised funds. Next slide, please. For me, there are several important lessons here. First, choose your friends wisely. IVN has been a terrific friend and a partner to have. Second, the social venture model is an important tool for all philanthropists, foundations, and federations. We have demonstrated that it will engage future generations of Jewish entrepreneurs with Israel and the Jewish people, and we believe that it is very good for Israel's economic future and therefore its security and the Israeli people. And third, this model can be applied anywhere. Anywhere in the world, for Tikkun Olam, though what better place than here. I encourage everyone here to join these efforts if you haven't already, to partner with IVN and federations and foundations to develop creative and innovative solutions to social problems in Israel. Develop tools to match local entrepreneurs where you live with Israeli social entrepreneurs on the ground. Engage young American Jews or American-born Israelis in these social ventures for the sake of peoplehood and Israel's future. The process itself will be rewarding. The outcome and impact over time could be phenomenal. Last slide. This movement will undoubtedly trickle into the mainstream, and when it does, it will be a big win-win for all of us. Thank you to Eric Benamou, to IBN, and all of its partners and allies for your terrific work. It has been a privilege to work with you.